Hey, this is Eddie Olczyk. You're listening to Empty Betters with Nick, Mac, and Harrison.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to episode 88 of Empty Betters. I'm your host, Harrison Schulz. I'm going to toss it across the screen to my co-host, Nick Manella. How we doing, man?
I'm doing good. Tired. We're up early again to recap this expansion draft, but happy to be here.
Yeah, we just had the Seattle Kraken expansion draft last night. We're recording this bright and early the day after to give you guys the lowdown. But before we get to that, I'm going to toss it across the screen to my other co-host, Mac Vogel. How we doing, buddy?
Doing well, living large, just barely alive at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, but surviving.
So the Bucks won the championship since we last spoke. Do you want to give the listeners a little insight as to how chaotic that scene was outside the arena?
I would love to. Should I introduce our guest first, or
You should.
Yeah.
So we have special featured guests, and second time I believe on the show, if I'm not mistaken. Stephen Baker is joining us. He's up in Milwaukee with Mac. Stephen, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, what's going on, boys? I'm happy to be here. So thanks for letting me be part of this.
No problem.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, Bucks. So yeah, dude, it was crazy. It's still crazy. The parade is today. The parade is in about like 3.5 hours or something like that.
Are you going?
Honestly, not intentionally, but I'll probably end up passing by some of it. We're gonna have a beach day today, I think. So
Nice.
we're gonna try and find some roads that lead to the beach that are not blocked off. Not exactly sure how that's all gonna work yet, but
Just merge in with the parade. You get a police escort right to the beach.
There you go. We're just part of it. We'll bring a float. We'll stick Steven on top of the car. He can be the float. Wave in a hockey helmet or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was nuts. I mean, I've never really had the chance to be downtown in the city where a championship was just won. Because I mean, when the Ravens won, obviously they weren't winning it in Baltimore, and I don't know, I was also only 14, so it's not like I was about to go out raging at bars or anything. And then I was just in Los Angeles for the Lakers and the Dodgers championships, but it's during the middle of COVID, and out there it's extremely, more locked down than most places too. So there wasn't really a whole lot of shit happening right after that. So I don't know. It was a crazy experience, just hitting the streets, walking around downtown, popping into a couple bars, just seeing what the vibe was like. Yeah, and I'm not a basketball fan by nature, but it was really cool, and I totally got on board for this Bucks run. I had a lot of fun following them, and so I would like to thank all the real Milwaukee Bucks fans out there for letting me join the bandwagon.
There you go. And at least you're owning it, right? That's what matters. Because a lot of people won't own that.
And Steven said it the other day too. It's honestly more about Giannis than anything. He's just such a cool player,
absolutely
cool athlete, someone you want to root for no matter what. So
it's incredibly hard.
The best sort of attitude for an athlete to have.
Yeah.
I mean, so humble and just awesome.
I loved his his interview with Rachel Nichols, or that video that came out of him trying to let her hold the trophy, and she was like no, you earned that, but he wanted to share it with everyone. She just seems like the nicest guy in the world.
Totally.
Yeah, he's definitely easy to root for. I was happy for him. So before we get going, we just want to say go check out the merch store per usual, emptybetters.com. Click on shop. You can find all of our summer merch there, as well as our collaboration with Craig and Courtney Laughlin. We are asking that you guys go visit the YouTube channel, subscribe, go like all the videos, thumbs up, algorithm, you know the deal. Question of the day. And this is prompted by my new roommate who just moved in, who's trying to get into hockey. If you're a new hockey fan and you don't really have a favorite team, what is the best jersey for a fan like that to buy right now to get some compliments, in your opinion?
So is this just which player to get, or just overall look at the jersey player?
It could be anything. I would probably say let's stick with NHL, but
Okay.
it could be based off like design, logo, or maybe it's just the player in general. It can be anything. You can be really specific. If it's an alternate, like point that out.
If your friend is going to go player, I feel like the easy route here is to just go like McDavid, but you might want to warn him if he's an Oilers fan that his life is just going to suck. So,
Yeah, pretty much,
yeah.
essentially, yeah.
Is he
So-
gonna be a fan of whatever jersey he gets, or is it just so he can like score points with people at bars?
I'd probably say more so the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. If we're being honest here.
I feel like the easy answer for like design is like the San Jose Sharks, because what doesn't look cool with like a shark head on it? But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you couldn't go wrong with like a Brent Burns like Sharks jersey or something like that. I feel like nobody would ever be like, "Wow, what a dumb jersey!" Like
Yeah,
anyone
right.
who saw that would be like, "Oh, that's fresh, bro."
yeah,
He could go the like Maple Leafs route, get the Austin Matthews jersey. I feel like that's kind of the same thing as like you're not a baseball fan getting a Yankees jersey.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's funny enough that you say that because I have the white St. Pat's uni that's like Matthews.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I let this kid who asked this question wear that jersey out one day, and he got like 5 compliments. He's like, I have no idea what I'm wearing. And I was like, yeah, well. One of my suggestions, I think the Blackhawks alternates this past year, the black ones, not the black and white ones, but that has a little red in there. I'll have to pull it up because they have so fucking many, because they've been in every stadium series for like.
I always
10 years.
loved when they would just do like, instead of red or white, the jersey would just be black and they still had like the head logo on it. I always thought those were sick.
I told him a Patty Kane one would be an easy shoe-in.
Oh yeah.
I also think like a Colorado like Nate Max jersey would be pretty cool. Like just the home jersey. They have a lot of good jerseys too. Some of their alternates are pretty cool. But
or their stadium series one they just had, that was pretty sick.
That was nice.
So
when I was a kid, I always thought the Calgary Flames just had the coolest logo. Like it was so simple, but like the flaming C was always something I was a fan of. Maybe it was a Ginla or something, or, backyard hockey on my computer when I was a kid, or Chell or whatever. But I just always liked that one too.
The new black alternates too. I'm a huge fan of those.
So sick.
So sick.
Alrighty, well, we're gonna hop right into the league news. We got a shit ton of it, so bear with us here. And if we miss something, we apologize. There's just so much news that's going on in the last week, so we tried to cover the best we can. But before we do, we just want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Brackish Life. If you're like us and grew up on the water and outdoors, then Brackish Life is perfect for you. They have a wide selection of gear, from UV shirts to hoodies and hats. It's Real Bay apparel made by Real Bay people. Head to www.brackish.life today to check them out. A little salty, a little fresh, Brackish Life. Brackish Life has also teamed up with Rink to Reef Chesapeake Bay to preserve the area many of us call home. Rink to Reef repurposes broken hockey sticks into oyster restoration habitats. Brackish Life donates a portion of their proceeds to Rink to Reef to further preserve the beautiful Chesapeake Bay area. Support this great cause by checking out www.brackish.life today. Steven's decked out in their gear. I'm rocking the shirt this morning. If you forget your sunscreen a lot, the UV shirts are a great alternative. So let's get rocking here. Nick, I'll toss it off to you.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest news to come out of the NHL over the last couple weeks, I would say, is Nashville Predators prospect Lou Prokop this past Monday announced via Instagram that he is gay. He's the first active player under NHL contract to come out as gay. He's 19 years old, and as I mentioned, made the announcement via social media. He's a 6'4" right-handed defenseman from Edmonton, Alberta, and was selected in the 3rd round by the Preds in the 2020 draft. He signed a 3-year entry-level deal with the Preds in December and played last season with the Calgary Hitmen of the Western Hockey League, where he was an alternate captain. So just great to see. Glad this guy is able to be more comfortable in his own skin. And I thought the reception was fantastic. Like players, guys that were in the Pred system were reaching out and posting on social and stuff. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, wasn't there somebody on the Preds too that like made a point to be like, oh, like if and when he makes it up to the team, we're gonna like give him like the biggest like support system or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah,
It might have been Yossi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, it was really cool to see all the support.
Yeah, Duchesne posted something too. I thought that was really well
Yeah.
done.
No, the reception was awesome, and it's just like it sounds cliche like the NHL slogan, but like hockey is for everyone. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair
he
enough.
also shot us a DM when we congratulated him, so we
Yep.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Pekka Rinne retired after 15 seasons with the Preds. The 38-year-old announced his retirement Tuesday after 15 seasons, all of which were spent in Music City. He won the Vezina in 2018 and was a finalist for the trophy in 11, 12, and 15. Finishes his career with 369 wins, the fifth most in the salary cap era behind Flower, Hank, Lou, and Ryan Miller. He ends his career with the most wins ever by a Finnish-born goaltender, edging out Kiprasov, Lettinen, and Tuukka Rask. What a career.
Legend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those stats I would definitely not have guessed, but I think the all-time winningest Finnish-born one is definitely the coolest right there.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why I didn't expect that to be him. I kind of forgot that he was in the league for 15 years, which I think was a
Yeah.
little bit longer than Kippy was. So,
Well, and I always just think Rask too. I mean, I know he's younger, but he's just been such a legend and such a powerhouse for all the years that he's been in the league too. So
and the Bruins have been good.
Exactly right. Yeah. So
I think like a lot of it piles up when people didn't really know like the Predators as like Smashville yet, like when they still had Suter and Weber, all those guys.
Trotz was over there.
Right.
Yeah.
They had guys like Martin Erat that were just fantastic hockey players. So
yeah, but like all those early 2010 days, like before they made the cup run,
didn't they have like Mike Ribeiro and
they did.
Yeah, he was on that team.
Franchise point leader David Legwand. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they did. So it's all these names that, aren't exactly the most household names, but he helped turn them into, I would say not so much of a small market team anymore. I mean, Nashville gets a lot of love. They got great fans, and I think he's a huge part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like one of the best ways to grow a fan base is to have that like sort of like star goalie. It seems like it's something that the fans can like really easily rally behind, and it clearly worked in Nashville.
Yeah,
totally.
The NHL is reverting to its old divisions and planning for a full 82 game season for next year. The schedule, which should be released before the draft, which is tomorrow, is currently going to have 2 drafts of it. So it's going to have like an option A and option B, one with the Olympic break built in and one that doesn't, just in case the NHL decides to fuck up the IOC agreement again. So keep your eyes out for that. Shea Weber could miss the entirety of next season due to injuries. He might not play due to knee, ankle, and thumb issues from Pierre LeBrun. The Habs have not decided whether to protect him, of course, at the time that we wrote this down, before the upcoming expansion draft. This is like a nightmare situation for Montreal, I think, because you just had what a lot of people are saying was a season that was so far out of your reach. You should just be happy you made it that far. But I think with how well Weber played and what he battled through, that guy was essential to that team's success.
100%. And it doesn't help that their star goalie, sorry to get off topic, is also in the same kind of boat. He's going to miss the start of next season due to injury. I forgot what type of injury he has, but I want to say it's in his hip. So now all of a sudden you're looking at Weber and Price going to be out for Price the start of the year and Weber probably most of the year. And I think there's a solid chance that, they were saying Weber might actually retire. I think he's still pondering it, but he's had so many ankle issues in the past that this would definitely not be good.
So I hate to say it, but I feel like this is a classic example of like team that loses in the cup final and then just like explodes afterwards. Just like if you remember how like the Predators were too, like they made it to the cup final, lost to the Penguins, and like 2, 3, and 4 years later they're like missing the playoffs and like not like
same with San Jose.
They kind of fell apart. And I think honestly the Stars too. I mean they made it, and then this past year it's only 1 year, but still they didn't make it. So
you lose both these guys, it's like you got no one to steer the ship really anymore, because I mean,
right, except for man-child Cole Caulfield, but
but their leaders are gone, I guess is what Steven's getting at. Those 2 guys lead the way, and Tough for the Habs. More news from the Habs. They actually did name Ducharme their head coach after the Stanley Cup final run. So he is no longer the interim. He is going to be the official head coach going into next season. And I don't know if we said this last episode, but did you hear that Bergevin, like, he has 1 year left, but he's not sure if he wants to get an extension because I think he might just be burned out from GMing. Did you hear that?
I haven't seen anything about him.
Yeah, well, he's not signing an extension. He's going to do this last year, but then he's going to apparently see where life takes him or go with the flow, whatever cliche midlife crisis, catchphrase you want to use. But he might not be there in Montreal after next season. So a lot of changes in Montreal right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin Miller retired from NHL play. He played in just 28 games since breaking his kneecap in 2019, announced his retirement in an Instagram post that he signed Forever a Bruin. The 33-year-old played in 352 games over 8 seasons with the Bees, scoring 13 goals with 58 assists. After going undrafted out of Vermont, he signed with Providence of the American Hockey League in 2010. Earned a bump up to the Bees in 2013 and was a regular on their defensive rotation by 2015. Obviously had that nasty injury in 2019 and was rehabbing it during the Eastern Conference Finals that year when he broke it again and missed the entirety of the 2019-2020 season. Just a guy that was, basically injury plagued from the get-go. And, it's sad that he has to call his career short, and I just want to wish him the best.
Complete warrior. And what a guy. And the path that he took to the NHL, like you just said, it took him 3 years after getting into the AHL to get his bump to Boston. The way he plays the game, only 352 games in his entire career, which is a lot, but think about that, in that span of 13 to 20, I mean, he had a good run, and that's definitely a guy that I feel like is always a fan favorite, kind of like a Brooks Orpik type, throws his body around, plays every game.
Absolute prick to play against.
Yeah,
it's a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, like a little Brooks Orpik vibe.
Yeah.
So good retirement for him, and breaking your kneecap is no fucking joke.
That just sounds horrible.
Yeah, hey, I did that one time. It fucking sucked.
Ugh.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was a freshman in college.
Ugh.
Shit.
How'd that happen?
Yeah,
I was trying out for the hockey team, actually. Yeah, I took a big old slap shot right to the kneecap. I had pads on and everything, but it was a hard fucking shot. Didn't matter.
Damn. Yeah, that's rough. I can't even imagine. That makes me cringe.
If it just gets you in the exact right spot, you're done. You're fucked.
Yeah.
It's a pretty rude awakening to college hockey right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Showed the coach something. You're just eating pucks and tryouts.
Blocking shots.
Come on, coach. I'll do this all year long.
Right. But before we recap the expansion draft, the signings and trades we will save for the end. We put those in a separate segment, just so you all know. So we didn't forget about that. We are going to get to it.
Yeah. So before we recap the expansion draft, I just want to remind everyone that summer is here and there has never been a better time to get out on the water. Are you looking to finance that new boat or yacht you have always dreamed of? Well, the Yacht Lender is a specialist in marine finance with partnerships with 15 different banks. He has the right lender for whatever vessel you may be in the market for. Backed by Trident Funding with over 25 years as an industry leader, the Yacht Lender has the expertise and know-how to finance the boat of your dreams. Don't wait. Apply today at yachtlender.com or check out his Instagram page at yachtlender to see others who have already gotten out on the water. There we go. Got that one that time.
You did it without laughing. Nice.
Yeah, I did.
I just took a video of that and sent it to him.
Alrighty. So the expansion draft was last night. Did you guys actually watch the coverage on ESPN, or did you just watch the coverage on Twitter like I did?
I just
watched it on Twitter.
Yeah, stayed with it on
Twitter.
I
watched it on ESPN because I'm a nerd, and I will say it was pretty cringy. I don't know what it is. I don't care what network it is. I just feel like when the NHL tries to do some national event, it's just cringy jokes and really corny. I don't know. Nothing flows smoothly. And I don't know the name of the main host, but I probably would do the same thing, by the way, so I can't really bash him too much. But he called the Florida Panthers the Carolina Panthers. I think he said when one of the Fleury brothers got taken, the defenseman, he was like, oh, he's a great forward. He scores a lot, blah, blah, blah. And then like they pull up the profile, it says defensive defenseman. Like, and I'm just like, I know he's trying his best and I probably wouldn't have done much better, but not a good look for your first broadcast on ESPN2.
No, definitely not. I totally agree with you. It just seemed like one of those gimmicky things. I will give them some credit. I feel like that was kind of a hard event to televise because everyone already knew. Yeah. The players obviously already knew because a ton of them were there. It's like, yeah, there's a crowd there, but it's like kind of like you just go, here's this person that you already knew that we picked now on the stage. Everyone cheer. Okay, next. Let's just
Did you see the Frank Savarelli? I don't know what his name is. He's like a newsbreaker for the league. He basically ruined the expansion draft because he leaked everything. And people were giving him shit. And I was like, that's literally his job. Like his job is to leak this stuff. So I kind of wonder why the league is having, the roster submitted fucking 12 hours before the draft. I mean, it would have been so much more exciting if they didn't already leak it. I feel like a lot more eyes would have been on there too.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had like plans to watch it until I didn't have to.
Well, all you missed is that Marshawn Lynch got to announce Callie Yarncrook's name, and when he announced it, he called him the boy Callie. And it was. I would like to say it was funny. But it was more so just like, holy shit, I don't know what I'm watching. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, the boy Callie. He's like, I ain't gonna try a last name. I was like, yeah, well.
I don't blame you.
Bobby Wagner of the Seahawks is like, I got an easy name, and then he was like, Vince Dunn. I was like, good, good for you, dude. Like, just a strange thing, and
it was like cool that they had Sue Bird do something. They had
one more. Sorry, I hate to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Is it Sean Kemp who played for the Sonics? Is that his name?
I think so.
Okay, well his last name's Kemp. If it's not Sean, then I'm an idiot. I apologize. He said Jonanis Donskaway. That's how he pronounced it. I was like, poor guy. It was horrible. It was so bad. And his shirt was a size medium, and it should have been an XL.
Like, my thing is, it's like, if you're going to have these people, read names, don't you tell them how to pronounce the name ahead of time?
You would think. That's why I was kind of so surprised. I was like, how hard is it to tell the guy, like, Marshawn, just be like, it's a Yarncrook. Like, that's all you have to say.
Right, repeat after me.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, wow.
Do you want me to read the list of the players taken? I can do that real quick, and then we'll just do a brief review. All right. So from Boston, we got now I gotta be put on the spot with names. This is the pot calling the kettle black.
That's why I said yes, because I want to hear this.
Boston, we got Jeremy Lazon. Buffalo, we got William Borgen. Detroit, we got Dennis Chalowski. Florida, Chris Dreger. Montreal, Cale Fleury. Ottawa, Joey Decord. Tampa, Yanni Gord. Toronto, longtime Maple Leaf Jared McCann. Carolina, Morgan Geeky. Columbus, Gavin Bayreuther.
Nice.
Jersey, we got Nathan Bastian. I don't know.
Bastian, you got it.
Bastian. Islanders, we got Jordan Eberle. Rangers, we got Colin Blackwell. Philly, we got Carson Twarnski. I don't know.
I guess.
Sure.
Pittsburgh, fucking Brandon Tanev. Don't get me started. Arizona, Tyler Pitlick. Chicago, John Quenville. Colorado, Johannes Donskoway. Dallas, we got Jamie Alexiak. Minnesota, Carson Soucy. Nashville, Callie, the boy Yarncrook. St. Louis, Vince Dunn. Winnipeg, Mason Appleton.
Go Green.
Anaheim, Hayden Fleury. Calgary, Mark Giordano. Edmonton, Adam Larson. LA Kings, Curtis McDermott. San Jose, Alexander True, and Vancouver, Cole Lind. Not a bad performance by me.
That was solid. Yeah,
I tried.
Good work.
Overall, general thoughts. I don't think Vanacek was on that list. Did I read
it?
I didn't hear you say it, but
I think you skipped him. But Vanacek.
They must have skipped Washington. That's like the one team they don't have in here.
VV. All right.
So. Immediate thoughts. Shoot.
So I was just looking at the list, and right off the bat, I probably count 12 or 13 names that would be ready to make an NHL roster in the
Yeah.
fall. So like, honestly, moving forward, that's probably a pretty good number for them, right there. With like you guys were saying earlier, just so much wiggle room left too.
Love the back end.
Yeah, the defense is pretty solid. It's the forwards that's a little bit questionable. And for those wondering, they still do have a shit ton of cap space, and free agency starts on the 28th, so keep that in mind. And then also keep in mind that today at 1 p.m. on July 22nd, the side deals are going to be announced for the Kraken. So essentially what a side deal is that Seattle could go to any team and say, hey, we're going to take this guy. And the team who is going to lose a player could say, all right, we'll give you a second round pick if you don't take this guy. And that is what will all be announced at 1 p.m. And according to Elliot Friedman, there's a significant amount of side deals that were done over the course of the past week. And Seattle could have up to like 7 first-round picks or something fucking insane like that. So,
oh boy,
yeah, I mean, it's not all done just right here in front of us. And everybody keeps saying this is not what the roster is going to look like come October.
No, and I have a feeling they're going to do something at free agency too. I think with that cap space and the amount of assets they're about to have, if they have,
they
like
got
you said,
something planned for
right?
sure.
Like if they've got 7 or even like 5 or 6 picks in the first round, they're going to parcel one of those off for someone, you would think.
Right. And also don't forget that for next year's draft, that kid Shane Wright is going to be the first overall selection. And, he's got apparently like McKinnon, McDavid type hype around him.
Yeah.
So if they want to tank.
What pick do they have in this draft coming up?
The second.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. I think they might get that Beniers kid from Michigan.
Yeah, he's a D-man, right? Or no?
No, the forward.
The forward, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This year's draft's been weird. There's not like they're not like hyping anybody up.
Because nobody's been scouting, so nobody really knows, like,
well, that's fair, yeah.
Are these guys the real deal? Like, they think they are, but we don't have, like, as much of a, like, knowledge to them.
Right, but, like, there's no McDavid coming out of this draft,
right.
Or Matthews or anything like that.
Right.
Thoughts on Vanacek?
You know what? It's a bummer. It's kind of, in my opinion, it was sort of worst case scenario, although I think I would have been more upset if he took somebody like Nick Dowd or like Hathaway or like one of those guys, just because I'm partial to them. But I think as far as like pure talent and somebody you do not want to lose, I think it is worst case scenario. I think VV showed that he's a more than capable goaltender last year. And yeah, I mean, it was fun rooting for him last year. He had a hell of a rookie year. But I think it's a great pick for them. I think, he's going to be a solid number 2 guy for them. And who knows, maybe eventually establish a starting role.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think he proved that he was the better Capitals netminder last season. So, I think as it got closer, we kind of knew it was going to happen, and it wasn't going to be like Dilly or Hathaway or Dowd or someone like that. So, yeah, definitely not something I was thrilled about. The text I was getting from friends of mine that are Caps fans last night was, I'm not sold on Sammy. Sammy's not reliable. Sammy's not the number 1. So that's the reaction that I've been seeing.
Time for Zach Fucale to come up and do his thing.
Yeah.
Steven, any thoughts?
I was just thinking I would have rather see one of those defensemen go as opposed to the goalie. I mean, probably way more need at this time for the Capitals to have that solid 1A, 1B punch than all of these aging defensemen that we are paying too much money for anyway.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
Spot on.
I gotta be honest with y'all, and I know that I'm the outlier here as the Pens fan, but what the fuck is Hextall doing? I don't understand how you leave Tanev unprotected. I mean, I think that was the one guy that after this postseason, obviously Jeff Carter had a good run too, but I'm going to be honest, I'd rather protect Tanev than Carter. Carter's 36 years old with 1 year left on his deal. He had a great postseason run, but you got to think, how much longer are we going to have him, and how much longer is he going to be good? And you got Tanev, who's, in his late 20s. He's still under contract for another 3 to 4 years. Kind of expensive for a 3rd to 4th liner, but has proven that he's just an absolute heart and soul mutant of a human being. And he's going to be dearly missed. And I know that was really unpopular for the Penguins. And then obviously, we had to trade Jared McCann because we were going to lose him for nothing. So I would have rather lost McCann and not lost Tanev, but I guess Hextall just decided to wing it. I don't know. I still like him. I still trust him, but that's really aggravating to see. I think McCann and Eberle are both going to pop off in Seattle just because they're going to get probably power play one time, first or second line ice time. You'll see a lot of these guys. I think last night, Dominic Moore, who, by the way, I'm not sure if he's bald and has hair plugs in, but whatever it was last night was not working for me. Yeah, I'm sorry. It just didn't look good. He was saying that McCann could be like Vegas's Marcia show, that young talent that like kind of pops off with a 35 goal season if he gets the right amount of ice time, right coach, all that stuff, which I totally agree with, by the way.
That was another pick, like from Toronto's aspect, is I don't understand why they wouldn't protect that guy. I mean, you just make a move for him. Yeah. And now, I mean, I guess so you have that guy so that way you can protect somebody else. But
right.
I feel like there was people on that roster I probably would have preferred to have exposed as not McCann.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I think Kerfoot was a name that was thrown around a lot. A little bit of a different role, kind of more of a defensive checker kind of guy. McCann more of like a.
What the hell was up with that like fish market video with Kerfoot or whatever? Is that just like a total hoax then, or what?
I guess
that's how they did that fish market video, but that's when they chose McCann, and I was like, they probably punked Leafs Twitter. What else is new?
Well, it was a fish market, so it could have been a red herring.
Right.
Intelligent humor in the morning, boys. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, it's not clicking for me right now. Apologies.
Who do you guys think is like I don't know, in your opinion, which one of their picks is the best? Like, which one did they just? So I feel like that's the one that like I was going to gravitate to. I'm interested to see how he does outside of the Tampa Bay system, but I think the Morgan Geekie one is great. We saw him have great offensive production, but I think one of the other ones that jumps out to me is Curtis McDermott from the Kings. I think that's a great pickup for the Kraken. That guy can
wheel.
Yeah, and he can fucking throw him too.
Yeah, and I think Gio is kind of the obvious one because he's a former captain. I think he's going to take a lot of young guys under his wing. I like the Vanacek pick. I know you guys are going to hate me for saying that, and I'm not trying to troll, but I do. I saw flashes of brilliance, and I'm not totally sold on Driedger. I think it's a lot easier to have a good season when the number one's playing like dog shit and it's like a big name. No offense to Sammy, but I don't think he's like a big name there yet. I think Vanacek could easily take over number one in the crease.
I was gonna ask you guys, like, what's your impression of Driedger? Because I think it's really interesting. Like, this is a guy that I don't know about you guys, but before last season, I did not know who he was.
No, and I think you could say that about both goaltenders that they chose.
Yeah. True, but the thing is with Driedger, like Harry said, I mean, he comes out of the woodwork because he's outplaying Bob in Florida, and then just like that, because of like half of a season, basically, because it's a shorter season, half of a season played super well. And the Kraken are just like, yeah, we're all in on this guy. Like, and I mean, I guess, but there was a lot of good options out there of other proven goaltenders that
like A1 goaltenders, maybe not but like a solidified starting goaltender,
somebody that what you're gonna get. At least I think this is definitely a bigger risk for them, and it might just work out totally fine. But I also think it could blow up for them, and so it's smart of them to have VV there in case, because I actually think he's a bit more of a consistent option.
It's almost like they picked 2 1B goalies.
Yeah.
They had the option for that clear cut number one, but they went a different route. They got these 2. Well, both of them could still end up being all-star caliber goalies. So
yeah, and a lot of people were asking, why didn't they take Price? Why didn't they take Price? Well, we just read the injury. He's going to be out at the start of the year. He's got a huge cap hit. He's 34 or 35 years old now. I think he's 34. It wouldn't
have made any sense. Everybody that was trying to make that make sense in their head was just lying to themselves. Right. Be cool. Or they didn't know about hockey, or they just
some people are like, why didn't they get Landeskog? I'm like, well, he's not signed. Like you're not
Right.
gonna take on a guy who's not signed and not understand if he's like, what if you take him and then he doesn't sign with you? Well, you
I
just
think a lot of people kind of misunderstood like how it all worked too, and they're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, if it's unprotected, he's unprotected." I saw a lot of things on Twitter, people not understanding the Ovechkin situation either, and they're
Mhm.
like, "Couldn't they just take him?" And it's like, no, dude. I mean, yeah, technically, but then he wouldn't sign there.
It would
and
just
it's
be like wasting a pick.
Yeah.
So
right.
yeah.
it'll be interesting to see if they like, part of me is like, well, they got Driedger, they got Vanacek. Are they gonna try and go after like a solidified A1 in free agency or something like that? But and then like what, one of them gets bumped down? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, we're doing all this analysis, and I guarantee you that this is not what the team looks like come October.
Right.
Exactly.
Right? When
No.
they have their, I can't remember. They said their first game, I think, is against Vegas, but it's in Vegas, which kind of sucks because you would think their first game should be home, kind of like they did for Vegas when they were expansion.
Yeah,
And then they get the Canucks at their first home game on a Saturday night. So
That's gonna be fun.
that'll be cool.
Yeah. That'll be a good one. So it's kind of the overall thoughts on the expansion draft. If you had to guess looking at this roster right now, just to wrap it up, I mean, they're going to be in the Pacific Division. Where do you see them in terms of, competing for a playoff spot?
Hard to say because we
Yeah.
don't know what the actual team is gonna look like. But if I had to guess, I say they make it.
Oh,
I would
Wow.
agree. I think they'll make it too. Sort of a weak division over there.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
true. Yeah. That's a great point. I feel like I kind of forgot with like the way that they like messed up divisions this year, like who's in that division and what it looks like and how bad some of those teams are.
I
But
could be wrong, but I think they moved Arizona to the Central to fit the Kraken into the
I believe
Pacific.
you're correct about
Okay.
Yeah,
that
'cause I
because
think-
I remember there being a whole thing with Arizona and Vegas being like, "Dang, I guess we can't be like bitter rivals anymore, but we'll still
Yeah.
hate each other."
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they miss it by like they're the team on the outside looking in by like 1 or 2 points. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they just, maybe it's goaltending. Maybe they just don't hit their stride. And that being said, if they go get like 2 big names in free agency, I'll change that. But
Right. Based on this roster, I would probably agree with you. I'd say maybe like a 3 to 6 point outside looking in on the cusp of making a playoff spot. I think they'll be competitive. I don't think they're going to suck. I'll put it that
No.
way.
I think, well, they've been given the same rules as Vegas. So I think, everyone was sort of under that impression with Vegas, like, oh, this team's going to be a bottom feeder because prior to that, expansion teams really hadn't, had an entire like ton of success. If they did, it was because they weren't expansion. They moved from one city to another and just, brought the team that they had with them. So,
Right.
yeah.
I think that they have the potential to be a better team than Vegas was simply because of the salary cap situation that they're dealing with. That wasn't really an issue in whatever year it was that we did the expansion draft last time. But you know what I'm saying? Like, because the cap has been frozen now for like a year and a half or 2 years now, and it's going to stay that way. And because of that, people had to offload guys that they normally would. Like, there were so many guys that weren't protected that
Mhm.
normally would be, but it's just teams being like, you know what, if I can get out from underneath this deal, that's probably more beneficial for me than actually trading this guy and getting something back for him. Just tons of teams looking to shake things up. And, we talked about the Islanders being like, you know what? Suddenly we got a buttload of cap space if we just lose like Eberle and stuff like that. Like there weren't guys like Jordan Eberle and Yanni Gord available for the Knights to take. They had to take like
Right.
some, like, misfit guys. And granted, they made it work and got all the way to the Cup final. But based on that, I think that the Kraken have the ability to be a better team than Vegas. Will they do it? I don't know, but I think it's possible.
It's great insight, actually. Now that you
I think
put
that's
that.
a really good point.
First line when Vegas got it was Marsha Show Smith and Carlson, and I don't think anybody at that time was
Those are
gonna say
not
that.
household names at all at
No.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I do want to say last point from me is kind of bullshit that Vegas doesn't have to give up a player, just my opinion.
Yeah,
So dumb.
boo. Fuck you guys.
I was reading a bunch of this online, and typically isn't this the way they've always done it in the past? I think Nashville like went like 3 years without having to do something like that.
I don't care what the rule is. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's bullshit.
It is, and but And of course, everyone's like jumping on Vegas because it's easy to jump on them anyway. So
Because we hate them.
we do. Yeah.
You
Speak
can't
for
just
yourself.
be the best team in the Western Conference for the past 4 years and just
And
break
before
the
that,
rules.
just not exist.
Right.
Literally since inception. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like, who are you? You don't even go here.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those, right?
Who do you know here?
Right.
You fellas want to move on to the signings, buyouts, trades, all that good stuff?
Yeah,
I think
sounds
so.
good.
But before we do, if you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with Craig and Courtney Lachlan to raise money for the Lachlan Family Foundation. The Lachlan Family Foundation was established to advance the research and care surrounding rare forms of cancer. To raise support for this great cause, we have teamed up with Craig and Courtney to create the Wowie Kazowie bundle. You get a limited edition shirt and koozie, while all the proceeds go to a great cause. Head to emptybetters.com to check out our store and pick one up today. I know you guys have heard us hyping this up for a little while, and you've probably seen some of the stuff on social media as well, but definitely pick up one of these bundles. Great cause and great design as well.
We will be at their charity golf tournament on Monday, September 13th. We will be there selling, the Wowie Kazowie bundles. We'll have a little bit of merch. We will be doing some live interviews with some of the Caps players and Caps media members. So we're really excited for that, and we appreciate all of Craig and Courtney's help, bringing us up to speed with the Caps community, if you will.
Yeah,
It's absolutely thrilling.
It's going to be a blast, and big thanks to them for the invite.
Yeah, it's just been great that this community has come together for such a great cause of converting Harrison into a low-key Capitals fan.
I wore the Wowie Kazowie shirt to Don't Know Tavern like last week when we watched the home run derby. Shout out Trey Mancini, it was a good effort.
That was awesome.
Yeah. What's Pete Alonso? Is that his name, that one?
Mhm.
Yeah, Mac, you called that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's kind of a bitch though. I don't really like him. His whole before he's like
bobbing the head around.
I'm just like, calm down, dude. Like, this guy just
see
came
him
back
doing
from
it
cancer.
after he literally crushed a ball into center field. It nailed one of those kids in the leg, and he's getting helped off, probably fucked up his ACL or whatever. And they just pan back to Alonso. He's just bobbing his head in the box.
Yeah. Is he a douche? I'm not a baseball guy. Is he a douche?
He's just a super dialed in, focused. He's a big personality. He's a big I'm gonna win the World Series. He's a confident guy.
Hardo.
He's somebody you want on your team, but if he's not on your team, you might not be the biggest fan of him.
Yeah. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I kind of hated him after 5 minutes.
He's good for the Mets though. He is a great player for that organization right now to have.
Yeah. Nick, toss off to you for the signings.
Yeah, Miro got paid. Holy shit. 8 years at 8.45 AAV per. Gotta love that.
64 million in the bank, not bad.
Yeah.
I was saying,
I'm so happy for him.
Same.
I was saying, imagine what he would have gotten paid if he actually had a good year this past year.
Yeah.
He's coming off a shit year, and he still got paid like that. So
yeah.
So we see this deal, 8 years at 8.45 per for Miro Heiskanen, and we have Cale Makar, Adam Fox, and Quinn Hughes all needing extensions either this offseason or next offseason. In my opinion, all three of those names are better than Miro at this current point in time. I mean, are we going to see a $10 million D-man? I think it's very possible.
I think Makar could get 9.
I think Makar could get 10. I don't think I'd give Fox 10 yet. I know that's going to piss a lot of people off that are listening.
But he does have the Norris Trophy tax now on his contract where you basically have to add 1.5 or 2 mil to it because he won a Norris Trophy.
Yeah. Well, and I think that
Rangers probably God damn it, why did he?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he needs to be renewed this year. I think it's next year when Fox does. But Makar is this offseason, and I think Makar is easily going to get at least $1 million more than Miro. I mean, I would think.
That's fair.
I think he probably should at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen.
Do you see Quinn Hughes being more than Miro or less?
Less.
I would say maybe about the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Within the ballpark for sure.
Yeah. Do you think
plus
8,
or minus.
around 8, or is that too high?
He's at least going to be 8. Yeah.
7.5, 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
I think he gets maybe 8.5, 8.6, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
I mean, the Canucks don't have defensemen, so they're
Yeah.
kind of like at his mercy, I would say.
Yeah, isn't like Edler's gonna walk this year too? I think
Edler's walking.
Yeah. Moving on, the Pittsburgh Penguins re-signed forward Teddy Bluger to a 2-year deal, 2.2 AAV. No one cares. The Panthers re-signed.
Will you
no.
shut up? Thank you. God, good for Teddy. He got protected too. You guys will hear this interview in probably like a couple weeks or so, but we had on professional roller and ice hockey player John Schiavo on the podcast.
Awesome interview.
Awesome interview. And he's like an Instagram. I would say he's like borderline like hockey influencer, if that's even a term. I know he's got like that Pavel Barber type kind of aura going on with him. He trained with Teddy last offseason, and he was saying how much work Teddy put in to coming into this year, and it definitely showed. So good for Teddy. That's all I wanted to say.
What do you think of the deal?
Perfect bridge deal. I think he'll build off of that. He would be a great third line center once Carter's gone. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at here.
Cool. The Cats re-sign Anthony Duclair to a 3-year deal, reportedly worth $9 million. The 25-year-old recorded 10 goals and 22 assists in 43 regular season games with the Panthers during his first season with them last year. Good deal for him.
Yeah,
he's a fun player to watch when he's clicking.
He's so talented.
Finally found a home. So
yeah,
good for him. I think he's played for like 9 different teams.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
Brandon Carlo gets an extension, 6 years with an annual cap hit of $4.1 million. I know the Bruins lost Kevin Miller because he retired, but they did get this guy back for 6 years. I think that's a great deal for the Bees. Adam Larson signs a 4-year deal with the Seattle Kraken. So that's 4 years, 4 per, 16 million total. Results in the Oilers basically trading
they traded nothing.
Taylor Hall for literally nothing. So
literally they lost. They traded Larson for Hall, and now Larson's gone. So you just gave Taylor Hall, a former Hart Trophy winner, former number 1 overall pick, for literally nothing.
Yeah.
So stay hot at the
Did the Oilers did they get any return on Eberle when he left too?
No.
They're terrible at this.
Well, and like I think someone tweeted like this out like the other day. It was like all the players that the Oilers have drafted and then like in the first round and then have like netted absolutely nothing on. And I think Yakupov is the same way too, and he was first overall. So it's brutal.
That's fucked.
I don't know if you guys have seen it. Actually, Steven was the one that showed it to me, but there's that Instagram account that does like what every NHL team would look like if they've never traded any of their draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
What's that called?
I'm wondering. I don't know if they've done one for the Oilers yet, but I'm wondering seriously what that would look like for the Oilers too, because I feel like they've traded a lot of picks around too.
They would have just won the Stanley Cup every year.
Steven, what's that account called?
I'm seeing if I can pull it up.
Okay. No worries.
It's called Hockey. I'm not seeing one for the Oilers here. Oh yeah, here it is.
Oh, you got it.
So I found it. You want me to read this lineup?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. So first line, Connor McDavid centering Taylor Hall and Jesse Puljujarvi. In the second line, you got Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Yamamoto. Third line, Ivan Barbashev, Zach Parise, Dylan Holloway. Fourth line, Tyler Pitlick, Nurse, John Marino, Justin Schultz, Ethan Bear, Eric Gustafson, Tyler Myers, with Darcy Kemper and Devin Dubnyk.
That's fucked.
I like that better than what they've got going on right now.
I was gonna say that sounds like a competent hockey team. I mean, maybe a couple question marks in net, but
that's fucked. Yeah, that I feel bad for Oilers fans. I really do. But
yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna move on from that.
The Rangers are expected to sign Barclay Goodrow to a 6-year deal after he came over from Tampa. That's reportedly going to be worth $3.6 million AAV. Taylor Hall is expected to re-sign with the Bruins at $6 million AAV for 4 years. That's $24 million in total.
Steal.
Yeah. Alexiak is going to re-sign with the Kraken or sign with the Kraken, I guess, for 5 years, $4.6 million AAV. And Andy Green, elite NHL sniper Andy Green is back for another year on the island at $750K.
Love it. That Taylor Hall.
Can we talk about the Islanders real quick?
Yeah.
Sure.
This just had me thinking of it. I think that Uncle Lou has got something up his sleeve here. I mean, they've got like all of a sudden like 24 million in cap space to go make a serious run at like a Landeskog.
It's going to be Landeskog or Tarasenko or someone.
Landeskog, Tarasenko, and even one of the two Minnesota guys too at a pretty cheap cost also.
They might actually land Parise and then either Landeskog or Tarasenko and still be able to re-sign Barzell because that's coming too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah. So Lou, like you just said, Lou is Lou for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got a plan.
He's got a plan for sure.
Yeah. He's going to make him an offer they can't refuse. The Wild, like you guys mentioned, are buying out the final 4 years of the Suter and Parise contracts. The pair signed these matching 13-year, $98 million deals as free agents in 2012. Combining the two buyouts, the Wild received significant cap savings for the upcoming season, but not much afterwards. This move also frees up 2 protection spots for the expansion draft, so that's why they did it. Did you guys see their reactions from this? Did you see Parise's like, I didn't think this was going to happen at all, and I'm kind of blindsided and pissed off response?
Yeah, not a great look for the
No.
Did you hear the story on Chicklets as to how this unfolded?
I don't think so.
So apparently, like, Parise was a little blindsided, but that was the less surprising of the two because Suter actually played pretty well, and he's like logging a ton of minutes. So apparently Parise got the call from Billy Guerin, and then Parise called Suter, and Suter was like working out in his garage and like his home gym. And Suter was like, oh, that's like bullshit. Like, I can't believe they did that. And then while he was on the phone with Parise, Guerin called Suter, and Suter apparently hung up the phone before Guerin could even finish telling him what was going on. Like, hey, thanks for your service, blah, blah. He just hung up on him and said, like, go fuck yourself, basically.
Damn.
Yeah, it's rough. Real rough. So I think Suter's still got some solid hockey left in him. I think maybe Parise, he's had some injuries in the past. He slowed down a little bit. He can still be a great, like, third line, like, scoring winger for a team. But I think Suter has a lot of juice left. And then what scares me is that the fucking New York Rangers are in the market for a left defenseman. Long behold, here we go. So I would not expect anything different than the Rangers to land Suter somehow.
Yeah, every free agent needs to like fuck off and not come to the Metro, please, because
we're fucked. I'm speaking to everybody on this call.
Yeah,
the Pens and the Caps are kind of fucked. Like, in every way.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just like a Thunderdome. It's just these teams are going to beat the hell out of each other all year, and it's just whoever is, left at the top of the pile. But
I think all 4 of us might need to brace ourselves for our teams to not make the postseason. I hate to say that, but that's a high possibility for both of us or one of us.
Yeah.
You think the 4 teams that made it from the East this year, I guess they're all Metro teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would imagine one of those 4 teams is not going to make the cut this year.
Oh, well, I guess Boston is not. But
okay. All right. Well, then that frees up something, but
still. Yeah,
but we still got.
But the Rangers are going to get in, and the Islanders are going to get in.
Yeah,
people forget Carolina's in the Metro.
Yeah,
Carolina's nasty.
Ah, fuck.
And the Flyers aren't going to suck forever.
Right.
They might.
They might.
I hope they do. The Panthers, they're the other team that was doing some buyout action. They bought out Keith Yandel. Had 2 seasons remaining on his deal with an AAV of $6.35 million. That 7-year deal that he signed back in 2016, which proves once again that Minnesota and Florida should be limited to signing contracts of 3 years and nothing more because they could learn something. Let's get into some trades and rumors before we wrap up. Ryan Ellis, Nolan Patrick, and Cody Glass had like a 3-way trade deal thing going on. Ellis ends up in Philly, of course. Patrick is in Vegas, where I actually think he's going to be sick in that lineup.
That's going to be dangerous. Yeah.
And then Glass goes to Nashville. And honestly, I think those are 3 great moves.
Yeah. I think every team comes out a winner here.
Yeah.
I think everybody's kind of getting what they need. I think Patrick to Vegas is going to be the biggest question for me because he obviously was number 2 overall, 4 years ago at this point. So He hasn't lived up to expectations. He's had some concussion problems, but I think if you put him in a stacked lineup like Vegas, could make some noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he should be a really solid third, fourth line center for them. I mean, he could even crack a top 6 role at some point. But
yeah. Ryan Graves was traded to the Devils for Mikhail Maltsev and a 2021 second rounder. Specifically, that's going to be the 60th overall pick, originally from the Islanders. Barclay Goodrow got traded to the Rangers from the Bolts, and in return, Tampa receives a 7th rounder. I think that's a great pickup for the Rangers, which is infuriating, but Tampa obviously has to, shed what they can right now to attempt loosely to stay under the cap.
And then obviously we saw Landeskog and Eichel traded to the Leafs. So big news. Congrats to the Leafs, and super exciting for them.
Yeah. Shout out to Rick Rally for breaking that news.
Shout out Rick.
Yeah, I was going to say wellness check for Rick Rally, who's just been alone with a bottle of Jergens in his apartment since Eichel gets traded to the Leafs. But Eichel, Landeskog, and Tarasenko seem to be the 3 big names that are still left on this rumor mill. So who knows?
Islanders get one of them. I think the Eichel's going to the Rangers. Don't kid yourself. It's all but done. Probably. Based on everything that I'm reading right now.
You would think. Why would you go from Buffalo to Minnesota?
Well, yeah.
That just doesn't really seem to.
One cold hockey obsessed town to another cold hockey obsessed town, and
both with appallingly mediocre hockey teams.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm him, how do you not go to the Rangers? They're on the up and up. They got a new coach. Everything's looking bright. You're gonna be the star in the biggest market. I mean,
the move is only like 2 hours away from Buffalo or whatever, too. It's pretty easy move.
It's all but done. So I put out the Insta post the other day, but I would say by the end of July 23rd, we should see Eichel in a Photoshop Rangers uniform.
Could you imagine a power play with Panarin, Zibanejad, and Eichel on it?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, the thing is, they could only maintain that for like a year, right? Because Zibanejad's going to need to re-up, and they won't be able to do that. So,
And then the 2 young ones, Lafreniere and Kakko.
And they're probably going to lose Booch like soon too, right? Yeah.
So
I don't know what's going to go back for Eichel. I know the price has dropped a little bit, but it's still going to be a lot.
It's like 2 NHL players, 2 like top caliber prospects, and a first round pick or something
And
like that.
at least 1 first, I think, is what they said.
Like they might even have to give up like a Lafreniere and Kakko to get this guy.
Something. I don't know. We'll see. I think only one of them maybe. I think Kravtsov has been another name that's thrown around there. He's a big Russian prospect for the Rangers.
Yeah.
Highly touted. So
he's sort of been like how Kuznetsov was for them. It's like, is he coming over? Is he not? Is he not? So
speaking of rumor mill, Kuznetsov, I would assume, is going to be gone by next week or something resembling that.
I don't know.
Definitely within the next week or 2, I would expect.
I would hope so, but
so the Tarasenko was mentioned in that too.
Yeah. A
it
1
was
for 1
Kuznetsov for Tarasenko, just straight up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
What do you guys think of that?
Where do I sign?
Take a shot at it. Why not? I mean, it can't end up worse for you than
you literally cannot
already in. So.
Cannot get much worse. So
can you imagine Kuzi on the Blues? I feel like he'd get to St. Louis, like look around the locker room and be like, "Nah, fuck this." I'm going back.
I thought you were gonna say rumor mill about Kaprizov, because apparently CSKA Moscow or whatever it's called.
Ska.
Yeah. So you gave him an offer you can't refuse.
No, they offered him a deal. So
it's all in Bitcoin. Can't be rejected.
Right.
Sounds like something KHL would do.
Yeah.
And then as far as the entry draft, we have the NHL entry draft Friday night at 8 p.m. Nick, I don't know why this is your pop quiz question. I don't think anybody's going to get it right.
That's really funny.
Do you guys know the answer of who's picking 11th overall?
I don't, but I feel like there's a reason you're asking us this.
Yeah.
Or did you just randomly pick this?
No one's picking 11th overall. The pick was Arizona's, and they had to forfeit it with that player scouting and training scandal they had.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So there's going to be somebody drafted 10th overall, and then the next person is technically just going to be the 12th overall pick.
Yep.
Are you serious? That's how they're doing that?
But they are 11. They're 11.
Yeah, that breaks my brain.
Yeah.
Like then, like imagine if you're that pick, and then like people are like, "Oh, what draft pick were you?" You're like, "Well,
Technically, I was 12th, but really, I was the 11th person up the
And
stairs.
they're like, nah, shut up, dude. You're 12.
Are you fucking with us, Nick? Is that how they're
No,
doing
I
it?
swear to God.
Because I think there's compensation differences based on when you go in the draft for your ELC. I think if you're top 10, you get like the highest, and then if
Oh,
you're
okay.
10 through 20, or at least I know in the NFL it works.
Might be in
That
the
would
same
make sense
bracket,
as to
though.
why they're doing it then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe, or not make sense, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right.
Weird.
I kind of agree with you though, Steven. That's a wrap.
It's
I
just
think,
weird. I can't remember like the last time that's happened.
or ever happened. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a wrap, fellas. That was a lot. There's going to be a lot more. I'm sure once we release this today, there's going to be a ass ton of news that comes out, and we're just going to be waiting until next week. So, yeah. Any final thoughts? Congrats to the Bucks. Steven, how much longer are you in Milwaukee for?
A handful of days. I think I'm leaving on Monday.
Nice.
You enjoying
Yeah.
yourself?
Love it.
Is Crease
Yeah,
monkey
it's-
behaving?
Good weekend ahead, and already had one pretty fun night last night, which may or may not play into why we were late this morning. So.
It went without being said. So
Yeah. It's a good time to be in Milwaukee, clearly, with the Bucks doing their thing. So.
Yeah.
But I'm not even gonna pretend to be a fan or anything. I'm just gonna let them have their moment and just enjoy it from afar.
There you go.
for sure. Well, fellas, that'll do it for us for episode 88. We appreciate everybody listening. Like we said earlier, go check out the merch. Go check out
Go buy our shit.
Go buy
Go buy our shit.
That's our new. I think we do need to drop a shirt like that.
Yeah.
But
Breaking news.
oh, fuck.
No way.
Ding, 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 ding.
Stop.
Zach Hyman
To the Rangers.
to the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
How much?
8 years, $40 million
Wow.
after
Oh,
a sign and
no.
trade with Toronto.
After we were talking about how they're not very good at this.
Yeah, they might be better than I thought. Honestly,
Yeah.
I like
Holy
that deal for them.
Shit.
Yeah.
$5 million a year, right? 8 by 40. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I like that for Edmonton. Obviously, I don't know if $5 million. I guess he's like a second liner. I guess you could say he's a second liner.
Yeah.
I think they could play him on the top line if
So
you
the
want to like.
Leafs. So the Leafs signed him for that and then traded him.
Yeah, it says 8-year, $40 million deal after a sign and trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow.
What they get back? Do you know?
Let me check.
That's
I
big
think-
news.
I think
That's
that could be
huge for
good
Edmonton.
because let's be real, Edmonton's big problem is depth, especially up front. So you could like if you want to split your, lines 1 and 2 talent, you could move him between there, I think, pretty seamlessly. But
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's great.
That's a good move.
I kind of
Yeah.
like what Edmonton's doing. They got Nuge re-up. Now they got Hyman. That second line's looking a little more formidable all of a sudden. And is it saying what they
no,
What
I'm
they
not
gave
seeing
back.
what went back.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we're not newsbreakers. We just judge people.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah. All right. Any more breaking news?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right, everybody. We appreciate you listening. Thank you for the love and support. And without further ado,
Class dismissed.